I once again found 20 more of the absolute worst places to pause during the Star Wars movies and shows like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber inside Vader's helmet, or even when Palpatine's mouth turns blue for a frame. 20. Seer Junda. 19. Darth Maul before ducking, Episode 1. So this is the first of many of these suggested by one of the comments on the last one of these I made, which suggested right before Maul ducks down to survive Obi-Wan's lightsaber slash towards the end of their duel, we can see a horrifying frame of Maul with the black makeup contrasting with the bright white eyes to make a terrifying image on screen. And this is just one of many of these that I actually feel like could fit in my creepypasta series as well. 18. Bald Obi-Wan. While this could technically be any frame from this scene in the Clone Wars Season 4, Episode 15, Deception, where Obi-Wan goes under the cover of his faked death to thwart an attempt at the Chancellor's life, we see him bald asking how his funeral was, which is just a crazy image to get out of your head. 17. Dooku's jump over Obi-Wan. From the final lightsaber fight in Attack of the Clones, at one point, we see Dooku hop over a low lightsaber thrust from Obi-Wan, which gives us this interesting picture which makes it look like Obi-Wan is getting disintegrated by his lightsaber, and it looks like for once Obi-Wan didn't have the high ground, which is probably why he always gets clowned by Dooku in the movies and shows. You know, other than the whole Form 2 versus Form 3 thing, but other than that, yeah. 16. Sidious blue mouth. While I couldn't find any frames of Sidious with a blue mouth in this scene, the Kenobi series is another story. But like Mace Windu and Darth Vader, you can actually see through objects with this Force lightning, meaning that you can see his face bleeding through the side of his cloak, which is very terrifying. 15. Darth Vader lightsaber throw. So for this one, remember when Darth Vader was dueling Luke in Return of the Jedi, and he did his signature saber throw at his son on the catwalk above? Well, turns out if you pause at any frame here, you can see his blade is emitting out of the wrong side, that being the pommel. 14. Darth Maul orange lightsaber. During the Maul vs. Qui-Gon fight on Tatooine, we can actually see a frame where Darth Maul's lightsaber appears to be orange because it is layered over the tan background of Tatooine. I actually would have loved to have seen an orange saber at some point during the complete saga. 13. Anakin looks up, Droid Factory. When Anakin and Padme attempt a secret rescue mission for Master Kenobi, they end up in a droid factory, which leads to their separation, and eventually Anakin gets hit by a piece of machinery, and when he looks up and notices it, he has a very strange reactive face to it, and then just kind of stands there until he gets knocked out. 12. Thing behind C-3PO. One of the many creatures in Jabba's palace is Gul, a member of the Wol-Kabashite species who has a limbless body with a long red tongue that attaches itself onto C-3PO's shoulder here. Other members of the Wol-Kabashite species were often mistaken for pests because of their looks, but were actually more intelligent than humans, communicating in a higher form, and there was even a Wol-Kabashite Jedi at one point, with Master Saesee Tiin even having interactions with it, as he says he couldn't understand how they communicated. Which I don't really get how you could be a Jedi and just not be able to talk to the other Jedi, but maybe Yoda knew, I don't know. 11. Zeb smiles at Ezra. There's not much to say about this one. 10. Anakin chokes Padawan. This is the Jedi Padawan Bene, who in the security recordings that Obi-Wan watches gets physically choked by the Dark Lord, which is a small detail you probably wouldn't have ever seen otherwise, and this is in the same deleted scene that would have had Sindralig getting into a fight with Vader here. 9. Tusken Raider Massacre. The scene of Anakin watching his mother die in his arms, and then he unleashes his inner anger on the Tusken Raider tribe that did that to her, is arguably the best scene of Attack of the Clones. Either that or the Jedi in the arena scene. But not only do we see Anakin initially behead a Tusken as soon as he exits the hut, which leads to the head rolling on the ground, which is kind of a throwback to the last video we did like this, with Dooku's head, if you know, you know. However, the one I really want to address today is right before we cut to the scene of Yoda and Mace Windu meditating on the matter. We can see Anakin's lightsaber make a clean cut through the shoulders of the Tusken Raider, which is like pretty dark, I feel like. 8. Palpatine weird faces. When Palpatine fights Mace Windu, Ian McDiarmid famously made many very strange faces here, especially with this one right here before he dives in before the end. As much as I love this fight scene, I do feel like some of the close-ups with Ian, no, the other Ian, just feels very awkward when he goes from doing 360s to barely able to hold a lightsaber. 7. Han Solo cursed smile. On Endor in Return of the Jedi, Han Solo makes a Grinch face here that is extremely disturbing and probably the most wild face out of all of these. Okay, I take that back. The actual most wild face of these is 6, Leia's derp face. She makes this one while fighting against stormtroopers with a stolen E11 blaster, and she doesn't look too experienced with it despite the fact that she probably should have been and was, at least according to Rebels, because I'm pretty sure at least at some point we did see her with a blaster. 5. Darth Maul falling. When Darth Maul falls backward into the reactor pit of the Theed power generator during the lightsaber fight between Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, we can actually see him transform from the live-action Ray Park to a hideous CGI model the further away from camera he gets. Not only is it creepy to see this low-quality version with its demonic eyes and all, but also seeing him cut in two and bouncing off of the walls is also disturbing. An image exists of him falling without being cut in half, which for now is a mystery, but could possibly be from an early showing of the movie before Lucas knew for sure he wanted Maul to be an organic being rather than a robot and not dead. 4. Jeans Guy from The Mandalorian. The Jeans Guy from Mando is iconic and only shows up during Season 2, Episode 4 in the background, but eventually got erased from existence. However, this error remains in the hearts of fans forever. 3. Hardcase Clone Wars Dance. While I might do a separate video on most cursed frames in the Clone Wars ranked, this was still a funny one to include, as Hardcase is explaining how they should steal Umbaran starfighters while pulling off what vaguely looks like the Macarena. 2. Lightsaber in Vader's neck. Remember when Luke cuts Vader's shoulder during their terrifying fight in Cloud City on Bespin? So we all know that right after this, Vader actually started fighting for real and then defeated his son in a matter of seconds. But what if I told you that if you slow this down frame by frame in high quality, you can actually see Luke swing his lightsaber into Vader's neck right here, and if this happened, it would probably cause Vader to do more than just make walrus noises. 1. Jar Jar eyes. Jar Jar was designed to be like a slapstick character, but since he had an alien physique and was computer generated, they could exaggerate his movements into some really funny faces, like when his eyes spring out like a snail at the incoming OPC killer. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. Also, check out the new fall merch drop that is coming out very, very soon. Consider leaving a comment if you have any new video suggestions or questions about this video, or if you just want to tell me how your week has been going. I upload normal videos every Friday at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also shorts every single day. But yeah. See ya.